This one, Henry Ford and the International Jew. This is news from 5D. I'm Otis 5D.
News from 5D with Otis 5D.
All right, so just in case you didn't know, Henry Ford, the inventor of the Ford automobile company and the assembly line, toward the later part of his life, in the same way that Isaac Newton became obsessed with alchemy, Henry Ford became obsessed with the Jewish question and devoted a tremendous amount of his life force to publishing materials about the idea that the biggest threat to the United States was Jewish people. And so I got this little video to take a look at, and we'll take a look at it, and because that's kind of surprising, right? And then we'll go from there. Just a 1-minute video. Oh, I didn't sufficiently prepare. My bad. Let me sufficiently prepare. Get this set up. Okay, here we go.
Henry Ford, founder of the Ford Motor Company, assembled a staff of experts to research the origin of European Jews who had been entering America in large numbers since the 1880s. Ford's research cost him several millions of dollars, and in
Who knows if that's
1923,
true?
he published the results in a 4-volume work titled The International Jew.
Henry Ford wrote a 4-volume treatise called The International Jew. You know, like things I didn't learn in school for 1000, Alex. Alexander Solzhenitsyn, in addition to writing Jordan Peterson's favorite book, The Gulag Archipelago, wrote 200 Years Together. Is that what it's called? Is that right? Something like that. And it's about Jewish people in Russia. Martin Luther, the creator of the Christian Reformation, maybe the Catholic Reformation, whatever it's called, the founder of Protestantism, Lutheranism, for instance. In addition to his nailing his theses, he wrote a book, I believe it's called The Jews and Their Lies, something like this. So, you know, these are curious things for a nice Jewish boy like myself to discover, especially in light of what has happened with Ye, and similarly with Michael Jackson, right? So it's like, it's one of these things like maybe where there's smoke, there's fire. Maybe not. Maybe Dennis Prager is right. This is the oldest form of hate, and that Snoop Dogg and Tom Brady are right. I hate you because my friends tell me to hate you. That's a commercial if you haven't seen it. I'm not saying I hate you. So, anyway, let's go on. But curious, huh? 4-volume work, The International Jew.
It was Henry Ford's conclusion
Look at
that the Jews
music.
were not descendants of the biblical Israelites. Ford further proved that these Jews, committing all sorts of crimes while under the cover of being called chosen people of the Bible, were rapidly taking economic and political control of America. Henry Ford
Ominous
also
music.
claimed that the Jews had secretly gained control of most Protestant seminaries and
That's
Christian
interesting.
book publishing houses, and had been able to remove almost all criticism of Jews from Christian literature.
It's interesting, especially because this idea has started to become popularized to some extent by Tucker Carlson and more, I think, by Candace Owens, the idea of something called the Schofield Bible, which introduced an idea, I believe it's called pre-millennial dispensationalism. And it's basically the idea that in order for Jesus to return, Israel, the physical country, has to be like built up, and the temple has to be rebuilt, which is, I think it might be the most popular form of Christianity in the United States, and has led to just massive support for the country Israel among Christians, not only because obviously Jesus was a Jewish person, but because they believe in order for their rapture and, you know, revelation and return of their Messiah to happen, Israel needs to more or less expand to its greater Israel borders. So this stuff, you know what, man? If you take off all the stigma, and it's like, oh my God, I can't believe you're making videos about it. This stuff is objectively fascinating. This whole idea that the Jews killed Jesus. It's like Jesus is potentially the most important figure in human history, and his legacy and his identity are completely central to world events in 2025. Like 2,000 years later, Israel and Jewish people and Jesus and it's totally central to our politics 2,000 years later. And I just feel like, let's just fucking talk, bro. Let's not go in with any preconceived ideas, and let's just talk. Because, I don't know, man. Like, the hour is late. It's too late for these kind of fettered conversations. We need more unfettered conversations. And you can't pick a topic in 2025 that is more fettered than Jewish people, Zionism, Israel. It's like people have their panties in a bunch about this, in the same way that during George Floyd they did about black people and trans people. And as someone with Jewish heritage, I've been to Auschwitz, I did Birthright Israel, I feel like, to use Tikkun Olam, if not me, who? If not now, when?
In summing up his findings, Henry Ford stated, "The Jews are not the chosen people, though practically the entire church has succumbed to the propaganda
the ominous
which
music
declares them to be
much.
so." Ford's book caused a major uproar for a few years, but soon disappeared from colleges, universities, and public libraries, and became unobtainable at any price.
So, I don't know. I guess I just think that that's like super fascinating. This is like Thomas Edison level, Benjamin Franklin level American industrialist, and he more or less made it his life's work to expose what he considered pernicious Jewish influence throughout the country. And I just think that there are like way too many world historic figures that have come to these conclusions for us to not have open and honest conversations about why that is and what it means. Because otherwise, history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. And if the same things happen where it's like, you can't talk about this. This is just hate. To even talk about it, to even do anything other than condemn it is just hate. That's just the same woke bullshit we're coming out of. And that's the spirit that I come from. If we're going to eradicate wokeness, I don't want to eradicate it 99%. I want to, we don't need I was going to say it didn't work. My analogy didn't work. I got too clever for my own good. And this is the one that's left as far as I can tell. As far as I can tell, you can speak freely about, I can't think of any other topic that you can't speak freely about except Jewish people, Israel, and Zionism. And so, if not me, who? If not now, when? And, it's interesting. I think that we'll just keep diving into it. We're just going to, I don't really have a particular agenda in this investigation. I just think it's objectively fascinating, and it's so central to current events and to world history. And more importantly than anything, I think it needs to be destigmatized and desensitized, right? Like stuff about black people is just not that sensitive anymore if you compare it to 5 years ago. And my goal would be to be a part of the movement of desensitizing, discussing the pros and cons of all aspects of Jewishness, such that by 2030, people just fucking say what they're gonna say. Because in addition to all this pernicious influence, Jewish people are like 1/3 of Nobel Prize winners, and people will say that that's because Jewish people are smarter genetically and have higher IQ. Other people will say that that's a conspiracy theory to, the Jewish overlords want that to happen. Nevertheless, these are facts. These are like Henry Ford wrote the book. That's a fact. Nobel Prize. That's a fact. Fact. Sam Altman, Mark Zuckerberg, Sergey Brin, Bill Ackman, Larry Ellison, Mark Benioff, Ben Horowitz. It's like it just keeps going. Eric Weinstein. It just keeps going. And what does it mean? What does it mean? I think that this question has been, what does it mean, has been asked for a long time. And I hope we come up with some new answers, because the answers we came up with in the past, if those are the same, if we come up with the same answers in the year 2025, things are going to get awfully, awfully dicey. So check me out, Otis5D. Like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Check out my website, see what I got going on. And don't you ever forget to go fuck yourself. Peace.
Otis5D.xyz